Three. I do this every time. I don't know why. Welcome to Affirmation Conversations, where we delve into the depths of empowerment, inspiration, and self discovery. I'm thrilled to be your host as we embark on today's panel discussion: Empower and Elevate, Unleashing Your Authentic Self. Get ready to ignite your spirit, expand your mindset, and uncover the power within you. Now, let's dive in. Let me introduce my panel members today. First, we have Kyrie Washington. Please join me in welcoming our esteemed panel member, Kyrie, hailing from the vibrant city of Atlanta, Georgia. Kyrie brings with him a wealth of diverse experiences and talents. For over a decade, he has served in the military as a dedicated paralegal, demonstrating his commitment to service and discipline. But that's just the beginning of his story. Kyrie is also a master of style as the owner of his own company, Tay with the Slay LLC, where he works his magic as a wig and hairstylist, leaving clients feeling empowered and confident. And that wasn't impressive enough. Kyrie is also a fitness enthusiast, sharing his passion for health and wellness by teaching indoor cycling classes in his spare time. Currently pursuing his associate's degree in business, Kyrie embodies the essence of ambition and resilience. With no kids and a single status, he's carving his path with determination and grace. Kyrie, we are honored to have you bring your unique perspective and expertise to our discussion today. Welcome.
Thank you.
We also like to welcome Ms. Quinette McCoy, a remarkable leader whose 20-year career in the United States Army is defined by resilience, dedication, and excellence. As a recipient of the CW04 Durham McGriff Leadership Award, she currently serves as a talent manager for the United States Army Judge Advocate General Corps. Quinette's commitment extends to bridging the gap between the military and higher education through her work with Higher Ed Military. She is also deeply involved in community service, volunteering at New Hope Housing, and serving with the Dale City, Prince William County chapter of Top Ladies of Distinction Incorporated. As a devoted mother to her daughter, Janaya, and a diligent doctoral candidate, she epitomizes balance and perseverance. Her diverse interests, including traveling, reading, and hosting gatherings, paint a picture of a multifaceted individual with a boundless zest for life and community. Welcome, Q.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to join you.
So happy to have you here. So, today we're going to discuss authenticity. And I definitely could not have picked a better set of individuals to have this conversation with. I've known you both for upwards of 10 years for sure, at least. Authenticity serves as the cornerstone of our identities, right? It influences every facet of our lives. Today, we will embark on a journey to explore the depths of this profound concept. What does authenticity? Oh gosh, I'm so tongue tied today. What does authenticity mean to each of you, and how does it shape your personal journey, relationships, and aspirations? And I'm going to start with you, Q.
So to me, authenticity is just embracing who you are naturally. Because who can be a better you than you? I would say that a lot of people today are influenced by social media and a lot of the things that they see online in trying to attain those things that the people showing them actually don't have. That's all a facade. I think that when you recognize like your values, the things that push you to be who you are and do what you do, tap into those things. I think that recognizing your shortcomings and being open to criticism, something that I sometimes struggle with, but I'm getting better. Certainly helps you to embrace who you are and to be a better you. Now, as far as in personal relationships, I'm comfortable with my circle of people. I think that it's a little bit harder in professional environments to maybe be your truly authentic self. But
Mhm.
I try to remain as much of Q in the workplace as I can be. So that's just my take on it.
Absolutely. And we're definitely going to come back to that, the difference between showing up as your whole self in a personal environment as opposed to the professional environment. That's very important. How about you, Kyrie?
Um, say authenticity to me means it's being true to yourself. However that may look, everybody's going to be different. Everybody can bring something different to the table. Um, but it's also being confident in who you are as a person, your personality, your style, how you talk to people. In my personal life, I was like we just spoke about, I think it differs a lot from like my professional side because I don't say my friends, say I'm like the life of the party, but I am that wild person. Like,
Mhm.
like in my friendship, I'm always like, let's go do this, let's go do this. But I'm more on a professional side. It's like, hey, I'm a little bit more tame and calm. You're still gonna get Kyrie, like as Finesse said, you're still gonna get Finesse. But, I still try not to lose that core value or that core personality that, I possess.
I totally agree. My husband often tells me when I'm doing something crazy or silly around the house, he's like, "Oh my goodness, if only the people that you work with could see you right now." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm a little bit crazy, but you can't only show so much." And I wanted to talk about it a little bit later, but let's just go ahead and drag it out since we're already here. And this has come up a lot here lately, especially with the the new talk, I guess you could say, or the new focus on diversity, equity, and inclusion, right, in the workplace. Since really, let's just be honest, since the murder of George Floyd. And one of the things that came out of that was sort of encouraging leaders to cultivate environments where people feel comfortable coming to work and being their whole selves. Um, what do you think about that? Now, we just said that it's kind of like, we have ourselves with our family and our friends, and then we have ourselves in the workplace. Do you all think that it's even possible to really be that same person in both of those scenarios? And if so, why? And if not, why not? Kyrie, we can start with you.
I think it's going to take a level of understanding of where you are, per se. I talk to my friends different than I would talk to the people at work, but I still, like I said, maintain that core characteristic or personality of myself where I'm always smiling. I smile with my friends, I smile at work. I talk junk all day long. That's literally my love language. So I do it with my friends. I tell you I'm the best person in the world, but I also do it at work too. So I think it's possible. It just has to be dressed a certain way, especially in our profession where it's like rank and it's like structure where you can't talk to people a certain way, or some people may not take offense to it. It just depends on the receiving end also. And I guess your intentions of like how you're speaking.
I like that. I like that answer. What about you, Q?
Um, I agree with that. I would say that in, where I am in my career right now, I'm a lot more comfortable being me. And I think that I have cultivated, some relationships where I am more comfortable in the work environment, sharing and being myself. Now, this country twang accent is not going anywhere, and I can't do anything about that. But um like my ideas, the stuff that I'm willing to share, my experiences, all of that stuff, I think that I'm more open to do that now than I was earlier on in my career. And I think that leaders are a lot more open-minded about it now. And I will just say, I will tell a personal story. So just recently I had a really um genuine conversation with a senior leader in in our court, and I was very impressed by the willingness for that individual to like want to understand, because I have been in environments where I feel like, I don't think I was forced, but more encouraged to just assimilate to, everyone else around me. And it was a little, I'm not going to say a little, it was greatly disheartening. But I think now that there's more of an environment where people want to understand, they want to learn. They're more open to ideas about, sharing diversity information, like culturally, things that, I may do in my family, a coworker or I may talk about. And they a lot of times feel like Q is giving them an education
Hmm.
in the culture. But I don't take offense to that, because people are asking questions to genuinely like want to know. And when people want to learn, I don't think that I have a responsibility, but I don't have an issue with like bridging that gap.
I love that. I love that. No, I agree with both of you. And then, like, I do feel like it is kind of the way you dress it. I feel like it is situational. But I also do feel like you can't exactly be your whole self, right? Because really, sometimes the situation doesn't allow for that, and sometimes it's really not appropriate. You know what I mean? And sometimes it's just not it's not wanted, right? I often have been in a room where I was the blackest thing in the room, and I mean, like, skin color wise, that's crazy. You know what I mean? I've been in rooms where I feel gravely uncomfortable because I'm the blackest thing in the room, and I feel like, my passion came across as aggression or anger, and that has turned people off a little bit. And I was just being honest. I was just advocating, for other people. So I do feel like, I was just bringing my whole self. I was just bringing the person that I thought that they put me in certain positions to be. I'm like, you put me here. I thought you wanted me to be honest. I thought you wanted me to be an advocate for people. That's why I'm here. And I will definitely say I'm kind of conflicted because I feel, I don't know. I don't know if I feel like it is based on how that particular leader of that organization or that enterprise kind of cultivates that workplace. You have to cultivate an environment where you do allow people to be their authentic selves, but people do need to know that it still has to be professional. Like, you can't just come up in here and act a clown and act a fool. Like, that's not what we mean by allowing people to bring their whole selves to work. Like, if someone is, for example, an introvert, you have to allow that person to be introverted and not hold it against them because they are not um, kissing your butt or wanting to do things outside of the workplace. Maybe that person just want to do a good job and then go home. If that person is, and I've had friends who were like this, involved in a same-sex relationship. Like, let them be their whole self and don't hold it against them because that may not be aligned with your religious or ethical beliefs. I've had that type of situation where friends have suffered from that. So I would say it really depends. It Leaders really can make or break those type of situations. So I know people who were not able to bring their true selves, well, not whole selves, but their true selves to work. Um, including myself, but I always brought it, and sometimes I will say I have suffered because of it. But I do agree with you all. It is about the way that you package it. Sometimes you have to be a little bit phony. So let's find out a little bit more about you all's authentic self. We're going to conduct a little authenticity showcase. So I want to know what's a unique quirk or eccentricity that you all embrace as part of your authentic selves. And you can just jump in.
Oh man.
I'll go with that one.
Um, so I will say that I wholeheartedly embrace that I can't always control what goes on with my face. Um, and Jessica, you don't have to nod so hard. But
That is so true.
if my mouth does not say it, my face normally will. And I can distinctly recall being a specialist and just having gone to the board to earn my promotable status. And if one of the first sergeants that was sitting on the board came in to drop off a packet at the legal office, that following week, and he told me that I would never make it if I could not get my facial expressions under control. Yet here I am, 17 years later, and I've seemed to have made it okay. I have gotten in trouble a time or two, but I've done all I can, and I just embrace it now. So
I am glad you brought that up because that is absolutely true. I'm glad you recognize because recognition is the first step. Look, and you know me, I too have that problem. I remember, the first couple of years in my career, being in the front lane arrest position, as they call it, fairly often, and I'm still bad at it. And my face tells it all. Good thing I don't play poker for money, child, because it's terrible.
yeah.
What about you, Kyrie?
I was over here trying to think and listen at the same time. It didn't work out for me.
I think that one of your eccentricities is the fact that you do the wigs. That is amazing. I would definitely say that. First of all,
So
it's hard.
it's
You slay
it's
them.
just I done struggled with it. Um,
Yeah,
I would say that, and it wasn't even like a passion. Like I wasn't a kid. Like, oh, I want to do hair. I'm one of those
right,
type of people. See it and I feel like I can do it. I'm gonna go
right.
try it. And I was talking to one
Yeah.
of my friends about sexy red. And it's like she's always doing something. Like there's a video of her like on WWE, and it's like
I
such
saw
a
that.
big wrestler.
I'm like, what is she doing there?
And I'm that type of person. I will venture off. I don't know. I never thought of teaching like indoor cycling,
I
doing
know,
aerobics.
because that happened after the wig thing. I'm like, what is he doing? But I was so proud of you.
Is this stuff all over the place? I don't know. I'm gonna find something. And I'm gonna put my mind to it. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna latch on to it. And I'm gonna try to run with it as long as I can.
I love that. No, that's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah, you are the king of random, but you're so good at it all. I think you should just literally get a shirt made and it should be called King of Random.
I think I'm gonna get that.
Yeah, no, because that's good. And I know your people are very sad that you're leaving because your class looked like it was like really crunk. And oh God, I said crunk. You definitely telling my age here, but you had like all kinds of people turned up. So, all right. So here's one. All right. So share a song that resonates deeply with you and reflects your personal journey or values.
Keep throwing these curveballs at us now. So,
So I will say, just because I work out to this song quite a bit, Motivation by T.I. has
Oh, I love
gotten
that.
me through a lot. Um,
Yes.
so some of the lyrics may be a little crass in places, but if the overall message is really good about persevering, overcoming obstacles, and I feel like I've had to do all of that, um, you know, in my military career. So, I mean, I might not be the fastest person, the strongest person, the most intelligent person in a room, but I will do my doggone best to outwork anybody around me. So,
I love that.
that's my song.
Mine's very close to yours because I'm definitely like, I mean, as silly as it is, like Survivor by Destiny's Child. Like, oh my God, that's my thing. That is it. What about you, Kyrie?
I don't know. The first song that came to mind was like a Kirk Franklin song, "Smile." Oh,
Oh, I like
Oh
that.
yeah.
I was
Mhm.
always smiling, no matter what.
You're smiling now. You
Right,
smile when you talk.
like, like I'm always smiling. And you think about the lyrics and the words to the song. Like I don't know. I just feel like I mean, even in the song, you feel so much better when you smile.
You do.
Always smiling. Like, it's literally like nonstop. Even when I'm mad,
Yeah.
I was on the trail as a drill sergeant. They're like, "Oh, you're smiling where you're mad." And I would literally be landing, pressing, doing everything. I would just be smiling. It's like, you know,
Well, that's
no, this
actually really good. At least you're not gonna have like, what do they call it down here? I don't know if it's called crow's feet because maybe
The
that's up here.
frown line.
Yeah, you
what
won't
it's
have the
called.
frown lines. You're gonna be like 50 looking 30. So
That's what it's
hey,
called.
mine naturally like goes down.
Mm,
So I might be screwed. Okay, I have one more. So if you could have a heart-to-heart conversation with any historical figure, who would it be and what aspect of their authenticity inspires you?
mm,
I kind of want to say that mine might be like Sidney Poitier. Like he just broke, obviously the barrier of in film. And I mean, if you really look at films in that time, he was like the only black person. Um and I mean, he was it's amazing. And I would just want to, I know that he experienced, still yet so much, probably discrimination, racism, bias, so much. And I would just want to, just have a conversation and see how, despite probably all of that, how he just kind of kept on going. And maybe he probably wasn't even adequately compensated, you know what I mean? And I would want to know how he kind of dealt with that as well, because I'm sure he did it because it was a passion and a dream for him. So I would want to I would want to know about that.
There's there's a historical figure.
Absolutely, he
So,
does.
I would literally choose him because, well, I want to know how did he remain his authentic self? Because you know he has this swag bottle that probably
He
dates
is
me to,
swaggy.
yeah, and it's just like, how did you like remain yourself through like all this time? You know, being in the Senate, being a politician pretty much your whole life. Um,
Mhm.
I like people that go against the grain. I don't know, like when he wore that tan suit and everybody was in an uproar. It's
I
like
know.
it's a tan suit. It
They were
looked
all in
nice.
dark suits.
It compliments him, but it's things like that he didn't necessarily care about. I'm pretty sure like his advisors were like, "Oh, you probably shouldn't do that. They wear dark suits."
Dapping people up as opposed to shaking hands, playing basketball.
Like all that
hmm
type of stuff is just it's it's interesting to see. Like especially being a political figure, making it that remain yourself.
And being reelected, even
Right,
after being himself. No, that's
right.
good. Yeah, I love that. What about you, Q?
Um, so I think I would go with Madam C.J. Walker,
Oh, I
just
love that.
because she was, when people were like, when when they say Soldier Boy was the first to do it, no, Madam C.J. Walker was the first to really do it out, like as a black female entrepreneur.
Yes,
um if you read about her story or listen to
I saw that
audiobooks,
movie.
whatever. Yeah, so I just wanted to know what was her drive, her motivation,
Yes,
and I I was just intrigued by like understanding what made her keep going, because as a
yes.
black woman during that time trying to establish your own company, I mean, I can't imagine some of the
Mm-mm.
challenges she faced, and she just kept going. Like,
Yes,
product would get, missing or stolen or what, she would be like, "Hey, we just gonna scrap it. We gonna do something else."
yeah,
She was making up her own stuff, and she was catering to a population that, had been overlooked.
yeah,
So when you're feeling that niche, and she recognized that early when she was working for someone else selling their products, that they didn't have what, the people around her needed. And she stepped in and filled that void and it made her, a millionaire. So
Yeah.
I
Oh,
would
I
just
love
want
that.
to, yeah, I would just want to know, like, how did she, through everything, not lose it and like just go, you know what I'm saying? Like, just stay on track to be the successful person that she set out to be.
Yeah, no, I love that, especially as an entrepreneur. And all three of us are entrepreneurs. We all own our own businesses, and we know the struggles of, that every single day, and wanting, probably wanting to give up, but knowing that, every day, as long as you put one foot in front of the other, you are further along than you were yesterday. And I love both of your answers. So let me ask this question. Can either of you recount a personal moment where you had embraced your authentic self and it resulted in a positive outcome or just growth?
Yeah, so I'll talk about a situation that happened, and this is fairly recent. Um, I try to, I don't set out to like mentor people and be like, hey, I'm going to be your mentor or whatever, but just in relating to people, um, a newer legal administrator, I was, telling them my story, and their story kind of aligned with mine. Um, and I feel like we're building this relationship where it could be a mentor mentee kind of relationship. And I think that was largely based on, me being transparent and not, sitting up here like I haven't gone through any struggles. I haven't had any adversity in my career. And I think just being able to relate and saying, hey, I've had some of this same stuff happen to me that experienced more recently. I just got through it, a longer time ago. But I was exactly where you were, maybe 10 years ago. So I think that just being myself made this young officer more comfortable in where they, are in their career. And hopefully, that gives them like, not saying that I'm anything special right now, but like to know that you can aspire to be whatever it is you want to be, and don't sell yourself short because you think maybe you're behind, or, because certain things have happened to you in your career.
Now, I think that's good. When people are looking for a mentor, they seek out people who are both authentic and transparent. So because that person sought you out, I know you just said you ain't nothing special. Like clearly you are. So don't ever downplay yourself. I know we all hate to, be boastful. We all want to be, humble and have so much humility and everything. But, you know, uh I don't normally curse on here, but I know you, and you that, itch, okay? Like you really are. I mean, you're a doctoral candidate, okay? Who is doing that? First of all, that is so beyond extra. Okay. It's a lot of work.
It
And
is a
whoever
lot of
this
work.
person is, they see that. You are
Yeah, but that's due to, surrounding myself with like extraordinary people and knowing that like they've done it, so it's possible. So let me try it out. So that's how I came to be kind of where I am now. So I mean, I just appreciate all of you that put up with me and my shenanigans on a regular basis.
well, because you have done that, this new person sees that and wants to emulate you. So, what about you, Kyrie?
Um, Honestly, with the cycling thing, when I first started, I mean, I'm working a part of a bigger brand, so this isn't my business or anything like that. So you
Hmm.
kind of see, they portray the brand how they want to like how they want you to teach, and it's like it wasn't necessarily me. So I was trying to figure out how can I be myself and also still, support this brand, for the
Hmm.
bigger name that it has. So when I started, my playlist to be so diverse, and now I'm not going to teach you a song if I don't connect with the song, if I don't know the song.
I'm with you.
So there's been times songs have come out that I will listen to it 20 times that day just so I can teach it a specific way that night so I can understand how the beat drops and everything like that.
That's awesome.
But I realized, like, just make your playlist. Like, do what feels good. They say, oh, do a third of the playlist for yourself, do a third of the playlist for the people in the room, do a third of the playlist for Cycle Bar. I'm just like, no, what if I want 11 of the 12 songs to be songs? Somebody else is going to connect with the song like that. But I'm trying to be as humble as possible, but it's a blessing. Like, I was one of the only instructors that would, like, I thought their classes like full house based off of like my personality, the music, just
Yeah.
people like liking the energy that I brought to the room. It was different for them. And it kind of made them enjoy it because cycling isn't fun at all. Yeah.
No, I
It
did
is
that
not.
before. Do you know how much that hurt? I had to buy my own seat cushion. That
You get over it
hurts.
for like 4 hours.
I didn't get over it. It hurt. So you have to have a good instructor because then they do make you forget how much it hurts until you get up off that bike and walk out and then your crotch hurts.
Limping everywhere. But it was just times like that where it's like, it's not what I expected. I didn't know what to expect going into the game.
Yeah.
It's like, I know the market of like the Fayetteville area, kind of,
Yeah.
the type of people that are here, but I didn't expect it. And it was just like, it was mind blowing to me. And I would always send it to like my mom and dad. They're like, oh, that's my
Yeah.
baby, checking out the classes and waiting
That's
list for the
awesome.
class. And it was just like mind blowing to me. I look at that as like a really positive.
Well,
Um,
I'm not shocked that it was packed. I'm not shocked. Like you, first of all, you were probably smiling the whole time and you had the energy, and I am not shocked at all. Period. So, yeah, no need to be humble. So, how do you all manage to deal with the hurdles that arise in remaining true to yourself, especially amidst the complexity of today's society? And Q, you talked a little bit about it, social media being one of them.
Prayer and wine. No, seriously.
They work.
I I'm not gonna sit here and say that I've always been above the fray, like, oh, I've never cared what people thought about me or whatever. At this stage of the game, though, I just don't. People that are not like in my, I don't really care what they think about me. I grew up in a very loving family, and my family like keeps me grounded. I am the second child, a little more fiery than my older brother. He's the calm, cool, collected one. I'm a little more rambunctious and kind of in your face. But I think that he, when I'm kind of feeling myself or whatever, he sometimes drops little reminders that like, hey, you need to float it on back down to, who you really are. And like, when I said I'm nothing special earlier, one of the things that my parents taught me is we're all, and not to take it to like a dark place, but when we leave here, we're all leaving the same way. So what you do while you're, above ground, and the legacy that you leave will be based on how you treat people. And everybody's not going to like you, but to those that are in your circle and you associate yourself with, like, for real, as long as they know that you're on their team and you're genuine with them, I think that's what keeps me grounded and um provides like the environment for me to be my authentic self.
I love that. Absolutely. I like how you said we all are going to leave here the exact same way. Love that. Kyrie?
so I was laughing because I'm the second child. Older brother is the cool, calm, like that. But she said I'm like the red bunch, and you can ask my parents, they would tell you I was the wild child. And they'll probably still tell you that now with my side quest and everything.
Well, Before you answer, I'm the oldest. I'm cool, calm, and collected. My younger brother is rambunctious, so it must be a second child thing, okay?
Down too. So it was bad.
Ooh,
It was bad
child.
for me. Um, I'd say in today's society, I like Quinette said, I think an important thing is having the right people around you that kind of support you and build you and accept you for who you are. But I think that's important. And that's why I like to go back home, like back to Atlanta. Anytime I go to duty station, when I was at my first duty station, I used to drive from Fort Leonard Wood and go home because I knew those people loved me. I knew they accept me. I knew I could go to the bar with my mom and dad. They're going to party. They're going to do all this stuff. And they're going to accept me for who I am. And growing up, share this. Growing up, um, you know, I want to say struggle, but it's the way my parents put it with my sexuality or whatever. And my parents are like so big and hard on me. It's like, oh, you can't do this. Not in a house. And I didn't understand it. I'm a kid. I'm just like, all right, cool. Um, but as I've gotten older and like my parents, they know everything about me. My mom is my best friend. We'll sit on the phone for hours. But their biggest thing was like, we wanted to protect you from the war because the war wasn't ready for, you know, what you were dealing with or what you had or whatever. And I understood it. And like society back then was not ready. They weren't ready for a lot of the stuff that what we're dealing with now. And I think we're more just, I don't know if liberal is the right term, but open-minded as a society as a whole. And granted,
Right. More
Mm-hmm.
there's
accepting.
a lot of conservative areas in society still, but I think it has changed a lot to where like you can be yourself like in any space. Like you don't necessarily have to change like
Exactly.
who you are. Um,
Well, thank you for sharing that, Kyrie. I know that was not easy for you because you don't usually just come out and share. But no, I absolutely do agree. It is very hard to be your authentic self because, you know, in any space, whoever you are, because people, you just don't know how you're going to be received. You don't know if you're going to be ostracized. You don't know if people are going to judge you based on who you are or how you are. Even with me, like I said, I'm a very honest person. What you see is what you get. You put me in a room with 9 other people, I don't mind having the one opposing opinion. You know what I mean? And it's very hard sometimes to be my authentic self, but I'm going to do it because, like Quinette said, I'm very comfortable with who I am. I know I have a great council of people who love me and support me. And at the end of the day, it's really about those close friends and it's about my family. I don't care about being accepted in the workplace. I just care about making my money. I know that when I go to work, whatever it is that they task me to do, I'm going to do a darn good job at it. So we don't have to be friends. We don't have to see each other after work. If I'm not doing my job very well, then I mean, you can just go ahead and let me go. But otherwise, you know, leave me alone and let me be. So I do understand. And we all know like social media it's like social media is such a blessing and a curse, right? I like social media because it allows me, and I don't know if y'all like this. I hate it when my phone rings. Text me, don't call me. And oh my gosh, please do not FaceTime me, especially if you did not warn me. I'm not answering the FaceTime.
no,
Like, text me and tell me that you about to FaceTime me, period. But social media it's good for me because it allows me to stay connected or to even get closer to a family that I really don't know, especially like distant family, distant relatives, or like the grandparents or aunts, great aunts that you really don't know, but they're so proud of you. They like to see what's going on in your life. And also people you went to like elementary school with. I'm like, I see people that I haven't seen since like the third grade, and it's like it's only been a week because of social media. So I like social media for that. what I don't like about social media is just it puts these unrealistic expectations on people. And for us, we understand that they are unrealistic. But for the generation after us, especially our children, for example, Quinette, they don't realize it yet. And they're constantly in competition, trying to keep up these facades or these unrealistic expectations, these body images, just like everything from head to toe. And another thing that I learned about social media, especially if you read the comments, they are so mean. I mean, people literally come on social media just to not just think about it, but to type it and then hit send. And I am flabbergasted. And I know that's crazy that I just used the word flabbergasted, but I am flabbergasted that people actually, human beings, adult people, do that. And it baffles me. I really wish that they would put a limit on social media. Like you can only use it between the hours of, like, I don't know, 9 to 5 or something, because people need breaks.
So I would say that people are intentionally very cruel on social media, stuff that they would never say to anyone's face. They say on social media. And people are extremely proud of being brutally honest. And so for a while, I was like, oh, I'm just being brutally honest. You don't have to be brutally honest, because
Exactly.
that doesn't do any good for anyone involved in the situation. You can be tactful in how you say something, agree to disagree, but you don't have to say stuff that is intentionally going to hurt the individual that you're communicating with, and you're doing it just to like emphasize your point. That's unnecessary. I had to learn that, because it just, if there wasn't like a real problem before and you're trying to, just be on, you have a problem after you've been brutally honest, because you just sever any relationship or any chance of a relationship with the person that you were talking to. But with social media, people, you bypass all of that. It's not, people don't consider that as being like a person. You're just an abstract,
Yes.
whatever idea that I'm interacting with, over the internet. And so I think it dehumanizes people in a way. And so then when it comes to actually interacting with people, they've lost the ability to do it effectively.
Absolutely. And I think that it stifles authenticity, because you have people on there who they're pretending to be people that they're not. They are extra filtered up, you know what I mean? And then even the people on the other end who are commenting. I mean, like you said, they're saying things that they would never, ever say to people in real life. I don't even know what they get out of saying, some of those things. Like, I can't imagine the feeling that I would get if I intentionally said some hurtful, brutally honest things to someone that I didn't even know who is actually human. I mean, I don't even know. It's absolutely insane. All right, let me ask this next question. So, we may have experienced this, right? Feeling inadequate. Um, I don't know if I've ever felt that way, to be honest. Maybe, but I cannot recall. But what advice would the two of you give to someone who was struggling with feelings of inadequacy?
I would say that you're in competition with you. I mean, don't try to measure up to what the next person is doing. And also, I had to learn that the hard way, because I did feel in some instances like, oh, I'm behind, my peers in this, this state of whatever I'm trying to do. Oh, I'm ahead of this this person. Like, don't worry about it. Just focus on what you want to do and the steps that you're taking to get there. Don't focus on what other people are doing.
I love that. Everybody is on their own journey. And what we see is not always reality, anyways.
Nope.
What about you, Kyrie?
I felt like I was inadequate before, and it took me a while to get over it. I'll share my last, I won't say any names, my last 6 months on the trail. It was tumultuous, I guess you could say. And like my eval, prior to that, it wrote, I was number one. Did all these great things, got it. Okay, cool. I got this last 6 month eval and PCS, and I tell you, it was like a slander fest. And I'm like, what's the continuity for this unit? Like, if y'all didn't have me, and I hate to say it, y'all would have failed. Like literally, I was with y'all every step of the way, giving advice, and y'all gave me this eval as if I was just whatever. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna get a bad OML number. I don't want to do this army thing anymore. I'm gonna get out. How do I get out? What is my quickest way out of here? But then months went by, like I said, and my OML came. I was just like, oh, that little eval didn't do anything. Like you made me feel like I didn't provide to the team. And I was literally second guessing myself. Like I told you, I was ready to be done with the army, but I saw the OML, and I'm just like that y'all didn't do anything. Yourself with me at this point. So, and I reflect back on it and I talk about it a lot. And I'll talk about it in my actual promotion ceremony because that was like a rough time for me, especially after I saw that eval and I saw how nobody had my back and so making this eval make sense. So that was like a really like rough time. But my advice would be, um, like Annette said, like you're in your own lane. Yeah. And one of my well, first time in my battalion, like we were friends on Facebook. She had messaged me and she was like, "I already told you, can't nobody stop what was meant for you. It was meant for me. Like they tried. I don't know if they intentionally tried. To me, it seemed like they did. I'll never forget that. But it was meant for you. It was meant for you to get promoted. It was meant for you to get the number that you got. Nobody can stop it. So just fight through it. It, it's hard too. Like that the inadequate thing. I think it's a really like rough feeling, especially if you don't just snap out of it. And if you float in that space for a really long time, I think it could get detrimental. Uh, and I say that from experience because I knew where my mindset was and what I didn't want anything to do with the military anymore. Because it was like these are leaders and like floor and like nobody's looking out for me. Like it was yeah,
Especially being like you said, it was a stark difference from just the one you had just received in the exact same location and duty position. So I can completely understand. And is this the same one where it took like dang near 2 years for you to get your PCS gift?
yep. When you want to bring that up because
Look, I'm just a little petty.
2 years PCS. My PCS gift from that duty station as I'm leaving. So that shows you, you know,
Wow. Well, I will definitely say that I completely agree. And I say it very often that, basically what both of you all just said, everybody is on their own journey. And, people say this all the time that comparison is the thief of joy. You cannot find joy on your journey if you are comparing your journey to the journey of someone else. And you don't really know the struggles that people are going through on their journey because you don't see it because you're not living it. And if you're so worried about theirs, then you ain't really focused on where you're going in yours. And it is so true. And I really do believe that we all have a destiny and our destiny is already it's already written for us. You just have to be patient. You have to be resilient and you have to continue to persevere through it and stay motivated through it and If you are a person of faith, if you are a believer, then you have to just pray through it all, because at the end of the day, what is meant for you will be for you. And your story shows that, Kyrie, because it didn't stop you from getting promoted. And not only did you get promoted, but look at the next position that you're going to. That is what Q, she knows as a career manager, that is a what we call special assignment. So only a few select individuals even get the opportunity to have an assignment like that. So those people who gave you that rating with no explanation, I mean, the aha is really on them. So congratulations on that. And unfortunately, you did have to go through that period where you did feel inadequate. And I know that was very stressful to you, to your mind, to your body, and to your soul. But the good thing is there is a blessing in that lesson, right? And so that's really the beauty of that. And I always say that as a blessing in the lesson. Every lesson has its blessing for sure. So let me ask this question of y'all, because I do know the two of you to be true to yourselves. The two of you, I don't find you phony in any way, shape, or form. I don't find you phony in your personal life. I don't find you phony in your work life. So describe the courage that it takes to be true to yourself.
It, it takes a certain level of I don't give a F, like, to get to that point. And earlier in my career, I don't know, like, I would dress a certain way and like work outings. And it was just like, I don't know. I know, like, I didn't want to look a certain way, but it's like, I'm gonna show up with my J's. I'm gonna show up with my graphic T-shirt on. Like, it's just one of those things. Just being comfortable with yourself and who you are. Um, in any space. I know we've been talking about it this whole time, but it's just one of those things. Like it takes a lot to get to that point, and I really didn't get to this point until we're talking 7, 8 years in, where it's like I'm gonna show up as myself. Like I talked to my SJA, and I give him a good morning, sir, but if I see him later on, it's, what's up, sir? And dap me up, and that's just how we go on about our day. Um, so I think you just got to understand where you are and maybe where you're trying to get to or how you're trying to be with your authentic sound like you know, Jessica,
I
authenticity
told you it's hard to say that word.
in the space that you're operating in. Um,
That's right. How about you, Q?
Don't know any other way to be, honestly. Like, I will say as a brand new W1, I think one of the things that endeared me to my leadership early on was the ability to tell them like, hey, sir, ma'am, like probably shouldn't say that or probably shouldn't do that because of this. But doing it tactfully, not just, oh, that's a terrible idea or what, not like that, but like, um, pulling them to the side and giving them like my true thoughts. And that has taken me, I mean, a long way. I don't, um, my dad told me to always say what you really believe. Um, because if you don't, you have to keep up an act and then you don't know what you have said. Like you get caught up and you don't know what you've agreed to or what you said, like if it's not your genuine, authentic thought. And so it's kind of like lying. So like if you tell a lie, you got to tell another lie and then keep lying
Exactly.
or whatever. So like if I agree to eat pumpkin and I don't like pumpkin, now that we're out, I can't be like, oh no, I don't like pumpkin when I've eaten it before and people like, oh, what
or
is this
change.
now? Like,
Exactly.
what is going on? Yeah. So just staying on the path, like from the beginning that you want to be on, is probably the best way to operate, or you're going to end up having to act not yourself for the rest of the time you're around the people you're around. And in our line of work, you may go somewhere else for a little bit of time, but you're gonna run across somebody you know from years back, and you don't want to be looking fake, phony, any of that stuff. So
That's actually super hilarious because what you said was absolutely true, but I held on to the pumpkin part because I'm thinking about all the people who were like, "Oh, I'm a vegan," or "Oh, I don't eat pork," or "Oh, I don't drink." I'm like, "Child, I just saw you drink while eating bacon wrapped chicken breast. You are not vegan. You eat pork. Like, stop, stop." Now you lying and you don't remember that I was there. But
Caught you.
yes, caught you in your lies. But you both are right. And what I will say is I think the reason why you all are able to be your authentic self, especially in the workplace and even with, friends and such, is because you have cultivated an environment where people respect you. They respect you because of your honesty. And because of your honesty, they've learned that they can trust you. And because they can trust you, you can be yourself. And I think that's what it takes. It's kind of hard for someone to show up and be their authentic selves when especially their leaders or their peers just don't even know them. Like they don't know nothing about you. So you don't even feel comfortable being yourself because you work with these people every day, but ultimately you're like strangers to one another. But when you genuinely have, you know, cultivated relationships with the people that you work with, because let's just face it, we are with the people that we work with more than the people that we live with. But when you trust each other, when you're transparent with one another, when there's that mutual respect there, then you just get so comfortable and you can be authentic with one another. I've seen it so many times where the leader is like you said, Kyrie, you'll dap up your your senior leader. That's comfort. That's trust. I mean, that person is wouldn't do that with, just a regular person in the office who they have not cultivated that relationship with. And so I think that's great that you have the ability to be your authentic self, because I mean, like, who's really out here shaking hands? I mean, like who's doing that? Especially post COVID. Telling you, half of y'all don't even be washing your hands when y'all leave the bathroom, but that's a conversation for another day. Y'all don't. My husband hate shaking people's hands. Child, he be like, he always tell me the stories, and I'm like, you know what? I be seeing some chicks they leave the stalls at the bathroom, especially at the airport, and walk right on out. No, don't touch my hand. I'm like, do like this. Don't even dap me. I have another question for y'all. Describe an instance when you confronted fear in order to embrace your true self. And I've had this. I can't really exactly describe a true instance, but I can definitely say in the military, because of that hierarchical rank structure, I'm sure there has been plenty of times where I have had to be honest, um, or push back with someone who was superior in rank to me. And I probably had a little bit of fear because, there could be ramifications or repercussions. Um, but I had to do it, and I'm pretty sure I did. And thank God I got through it.
So, because we all, kind of work in the same line of work, like the main jobs or what you used to do. It's the same thing. Um, like sometimes you don't know how to respond to people or approach people. I'm an observer, so I watch people, I watch their mannerisms, I watch how they talk to people. So the moment you walk in and you make your presence known, I'm watching you. You start to understand, the type of person that you are. And even then, after I feel like I've gotten a good gauge on a person, and it is more so with like senior leaders, you try to understand how to approach them, how you can make comments, how you can say certain things. And I think that, like you said, there's a fear in place with that because you don't know how they're going to respond. And like I said earlier, I'm a mess talker. I'm gonna do it to the brigade commander. I'm gonna do it to the SJ. Equal opportunity. Everybody about to get this. So it's like, trying to understand that. And even in a more professional sense, like being that naysayer, like you said, um, like so it's scary sometimes because you don't know how they're going to respond to it, or you're not necessarily trying to sharpshoot them, but it's like, hey, I have this information, I have this experience, I can provide it to the group, and this is why I think this way. And a lot of times leaders don't think like that. They just think you coming in. I mean, it's like that's not what I'm doing. I'm not just trying to disagree to be that person in the room, but I'm disagreeing for a reason. I talk for a reason. And I tell my soldiers that a lot too, because I don't do a lot of extra talking in the office. They be doing all the talking. I can't work and talk at the same time. So I just let them do all the talking. Um, I tell them all the time, like, I try not to talk, especially in group settings, unless it's like meaningful or makes sense. Like if I'm not adding value to like that situation, like do I really need to say something? Do I need to throw a comment in? Oh, what we did in my last unit. Okay, what you did in your last unit. This is how we doing it here because I think we all dealt with that comment. Oh, we did in my last unit. We're talking about that. What we're doing here. How are we gonna like fix this problem here? Um, but yeah, it's I think it's a little scary sometimes, especially if you don't fully understand the situation or understand that person and how they'll respond to you. I don't know, being that opposing voice in the room for whatever reason.
Absolutely. What about you, Q?
As I was sitting here thinking about an experience, I realized that Korea was a wild time in my career and just developing and, as a leader, I went through a lot of stuff. So I would say that I was standing up for myself, but looking back on the situation now from the leader's perspective, I totally understand why. But my mind like operates on like principles of fairness and equity. And so I felt that I was not being treated fairly. And I, really got along with my NCO. And I mean, we're still in contact to this day. But in advocating for myself, I got a little more passionate than maybe I should have. Um, and I ended up walking out and I walked outside. Um, at the time I was, smoking. It was Korea, whatever. I walked outside to go smoke. And the brigade XO walked outside and was like, McCoy, is everything okay? And I was like, oh, yes, sir. He was like, you have to apologize, right? I was like, sir, as soon as I walked out, I knew I was wrong. Like I have to go back and make it right. But in the moment, I felt that I was standing up for myself. And so I did go back and I apologized. And that leader extended grace that I probably did not deserve. And in that moment, like I learned to extend that grace to other people in circumstances like that. Because I mean, was I scared to say, kind of stand up for myself? Yeah, but I felt that the leader also respected me because I had, the gumption to stand up and say what I, felt in my position. So it all worked out. Nobody got, Article 15 or anything, but I think in being myself, also and them knowing like I wasn't trying to be disrespectful. I was just passionate in the moment. That also worked in my favor. So
Some behind that.
Absolutely.
I, and I I appreciate that quality because soldiers, they are very, I told you they be talking, they are very outspoken. And there have been times where it's like they toe in that line and they cross the line, but I don't respond in a negative fashion because I know they don't necessarily mean it in a way that they said it. They're just passionate about it. They want to get their point across. They want to be heard. And like, I'm always calm in those situations. And like your NCO was, um, I, I extended the grace. Like I let them get their point across. I let them talk. I let them go get their moment. It's like, all right, let's sit down and talk about it. Let's recollect. Let's kind of kumbaya really quick so you can understand like why I said what I said and you responded the way you did. Let me understand you better. You know, when you're not in that heated moment, because I have a soldier now, he reacts on the moment, and it's like, geez, think about it. Wait, pause for a second before you like fire this up. If you fire this up, I'm gonna get fired up, and we just both of us on the. I'm gonna win at the end of the day. But
Exactly. That's true.
that can't always be his default position. Like I think that it worked for me because that happened one time. But if that's your like default position, like I'm always ready to get in the fray. We may need to
I
talk
was just
about some other things.
I was just about to ask Kyrie, are all your soldiers like 23 and younger maybe? Cuz I think it's
yes,
just I want to ask, is it like generational? Because, Q, you have a child that's pretty much like the same age as mine, 18,
Yeah,
19 years old. And it's like when we were growing up, it kind of wasn't like that, right? It was like and I'm not saying these kids these days don't have respect for authority, but we knew like we just didn't talk back. And honestly, we almost just didn't even have permission to even express our thoughts or opinions at all. Like, period. You just didn't. So I do allow my child to do it. But it's like you said, Kyrie, with your soldiers, like toeing the line. It's like I want you to do it, but you about to cross your toe. Your toe is on on the other side a little bit. Um, so that's why I was wondering, like, I appreciate that you do give them the opportunity to express their opinions and their thoughts and their feelings on it. Because I do feel like everybody should be able to, especially because they are still adults. But I am with Q. It's like this is a little bit different because of the profession that we're in. You can say what you got to say, but you can't say it. You can't be, ATLANTAGA. That's where I stay every time you want to say something. Okay, you gotta chill,
and,
because Sergeant Washington may be cool, but Chief McCoy and her facial expressions is gonna eat you up. You know what I mean? So I was really just kind of wondering the age of the
yeah.
soldiers. But it's good. I mean, you have cultivated that relationship with them to where they do feel comfortable. But just so they do know that, that's just the relationship that they have with you, and that with other people, their approach just kind of have to be a little bit different. Because you know how I am. I kind of cultivated that relationship with y'all when I was your AIT instructor, but I also was a little bit crazy. I was like, I ain't no killer, but don't push me. You know what I mean? Like I was cool, but I wasn't that cool. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I like that. I like how you are authentic in yourself, and that translates to the relationships that you have with your soldiers. But don't have your soldiers out here getting toe up by somebody else.
They already know. And I had to coach them through the moment. Like, hey, and I talked about it to like our OIC too, because I'm the raider, he's a senior raider, and we discussed like the evals and everything like that. And it's like I've done the counseling, I've coached him through it, and he's way better than I, when I tell you. I don't want to say a different person, but I look at him now. I'm about to leave. He had to like take charge of the office. Like he's learning now. Like
That's good.
he's understanding. Like I wasn't just talking to talk because that's not my favorite thing to do. But I was really trying to help him grow in a sense of like, hey, just relax for a moment, think about it, get your thoughts together, because we're human. We're going to react out of emotion. Should you do it every time? No, I don't think so. But it
Yeah.
happens. Um, So he's learned and he's like way better about it now, especially now that he has more responsibility in his transition. He was managing the whole brigade leadership. So it's like,
Oh,
you
that's
got to do what I did at this point. And you understand the stresses that on top of having to do your own work, you're checking behind 20 other people. They're asking you 20 questions. Don't stop talking. And he understands it now. It's like, I think that light bulb kind of like clicked in his head. And it's like, okay.
well, he is embracing his authenticity, but he's boxing it up a little bit, right? What did you call it? I think you said something about it's the way that you dress it up. So
The way you dress
so
it,
that's good. Yeah, the way you dress it.
yeah.
Well, I definitely appreciate y'all being here to share your insights and your experiences. So before we do say goodbye to each other, I want you all to have an opportunity not only to give some closing remarks on the topic, but if you want to share any of your handles, any websites or anything that you have, please go ahead. Don't be too humble. Advertise yourself, your services, and your goods out here, if you so please, even if it's your LinkedIn. Kyrie, I'm gonna let you start.
I'm gonna start with my handles first. So handle Take with the sleigh, Take with the sleigh on Instagram. For my cycling thing, is cyclestar underscore Kyrie. I'm in transition right now, trying to find a new studio near or in Charlottesville. So y'all might see me again on the bike. Um, it's it's so easy to be yourself. Um, and like we said, it's gonna take some time for some people to like get that courage to be comfortable with it. But you feel so much better when you're yourself all the time. Like I said, I never lose myself in the professional environment. I dress it up a little bit, but I am still Kyrie at the end of the day. In my personal life, I'm Tay. So Tay is a whole my little alter ego, but they understand like it's all Kyrie, it's all essence of me. Um, I think it takes more energy or it hurts more to hide actually who you are. And it's I don't know, I don't want to say be comfortable because if it's as easy as saying like we would all do it. But
Mhm.
you know, try to find those outlets of things that you like to do that you're comfortable with. And try to channel your personality, your emotion and your passion through those different types of things. And you might try 20 things. You might have 20 side quests like me doing everything. But try it out. Like you never know. Like that might blossom your authenticity. And here you are being Kyrie all the time, 24/7. You don't have to change yourself for anybody or hide yourself who you
It appears that it is empowering to be yourself. That's what you exude that, Kyrie. So I love to see it. I love to see you doing all the things you, with a smile, of course. What about you, Q? Look at your face.
Me?
Your face. Your face and his smile, child.
Um, so I don't have anything super profound to wrap it up. I will just say that one, I just want people to know that you are enough. Um, so just be you. And it's easier to be you than it is to be who you think people expect for you to be. Um, I'm just gonna go the professional route with the LinkedIn, Quinette McCoy, hashtag Career Manager Chronicles. We're trying to get some traction on that. And and that's all I have. Thank you for having me, Jessica.
Absolutely. You both were awesome. This was a great conversation. So, as we draw this empowering conversation to a close, I hope that everyone is leaving with a renewed sense of purpose and a toolkit filled with affirmations to guide you on your journey. Remember that authenticity is a superpower, and by embracing it, you can truly elevate your life. I thank you for tuning in to another episode of Affirmation Conversations. Until next time, keep elevating, keep shining, and keep being a unique light to the world. Thank you. Bye
Bye.
bye.